guys have made it in, and they got to just pick wherever they wanted to sit and who they wanted to start dating, and I'm alone. So many girls. Well, I know we're all like... So the guys paid to be here. That's what's weird, and there's a lot more girls than guys, so that's weird. And it's not a situation of like where you date everyone and you just say yes or no or something, and then at the end, if you both said yes to each other, you hang out later. You ask to match right away, and you like give the person like your QR code, and then you just like basically ask to match with them. Like the girl, they were saying like, ladies, you should initiate. Like, guys love when you initiate. I'm sorry, what?
All right, guys, gotta talk about another speed dating event. Okay, the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, these modern women overvalue themselves when it comes to the single dating market. Okay, they completely put themselves on a pedestal, okay, with their degrees and their diploma, thinking that they're doing something when it comes to the single dating market. Okay, and this video is no exception. Take a look.
I did a thing and went speed dating. The video quality might not be the best because I was doing it against their wishes, but just stick around and listen to my experience. Let me say this, I completely understand now why those women pop those balloons as soon as those men entered the room. But I didn't have that luxury. You actually have to sit through the entire 5 minutes until she rings the bell saying move on to the next. I believe there were 13 sections. We were seated and given a name tag. On the piece of paper, we write things like what they do, where they work, and if we're interested in them contacting us. So the ladies were seated first, as you can imagine, and I promise you it would have sounded like the 4th of July because I would have been popping my balloon and everybody else's. What the heck? And then as you see, the bar's not open, and the ladies like, if you want a drink, you can walk to the front and do. So we did. We went and ordered some liquid courage, and there's 2 bunnies there. They didn't even leave with nobody. Got my homegirl in the back, like we really just be doing shit. So anyway, we come back, we got our drinks, and we're ready to party. But baby, let me tell you, this was such an experience. From the peeping Toms to the Velcro Asics to the men who have wonderful careers but are just awkward as hell. One guy, I tried so hard to cover my face because his breath smelled like, but look, my friend enjoying herself head. And do you want to know what's even more frustrating? All of the women there were bosses, doctors, scientists, researchers, therapists. There were only 2 black guys. One was 22 saying he wanted to travel the world. The other one was mad that I had a child out of wedlock. Anyway, maybe next time.
You can't make this stuff up, guys. Yo, did she say that she has a child out of wedlock and the guy didn't want to deal with it, and she's basically trying to shame him for it? This is crazy. This is pure insanity. Yo, this is comic gold, okay? Absolute gold at this point in time. The audacity that these chicks have, thinking they're above the men at these events. Okay, if you're going to a speed dating event, chances are something is up. Okay, you are not getting the results that you should be getting when it comes to the single dating market. Okay, especially for a woman. Okay, let's be clear. For a woman, you don't have to do much. Okay, you just need to be a decent person and have a gym membership, and yeah, you're pretty much good to go. Okay, there's going to be guys or some guy out there that may take you on. Okay, for a man, it's increasingly difficult because a man has to add so much more value, okay, when it comes to the single dating market. Okay, he can't skate by being attractive. Okay, he has to bring money, resources, he has to protect and provide. He has to bring way more to the table for a woman to possibly take him serious. So for a woman to get to a point where she has to rely on a speed dating event to find a significant other, yeah, it's really bad, okay? really, really bad, okay? So the fact that she's trying to shame the other men by calling them creeps and weirdos, yeah, how dare you? All right, guys, so the next clip is going to be of a woman observing a singles Christian dating event at church. Yeah, when you thought you heard it all when it comes to these single dating events, no. Apparently they are having single dating mixers, okay? Single dating events at church.
I went to a Christian singles event, and here's why I think we're doomed to be single for the rest of our lives. That was a bit dramatic, but let me tell my story. So I went to singles night at Union Church's Charlotte campus. Now, I don't go to that church, but I started following Pastor Stephen since he was a guest pastor at my church earlier this month. And when I found out that he was writing a book on dating and relationships, I was interested because, listen, your girl could use some divine intervention in that area. But I'll be honest, I didn't want to go at first. I figured it's a Christian singles event. There's going to be 11 women there and like 2 men. Plus, they were advertising it as a conversation that you wouldn't expect to have at church. And I thought, I've heard enough of those modern dating and relationship podcasts. I don't need to hear any more, especially not with a biblical spin. Instead of having meaningful conversations about finding and building Christ-centered relationships, the event was a Q&A about superficial stuff, like mostly whether to settle for someone who does not earn 6 figures. Like, that seemed to be the hot topic of the night. People were asking that same question over and over again. And honestly, all that I took from it was that we're focused on the wrong things. You know, as Christians, we're called to be set apart. We're supposed to focus on things like love and faith and character, but we're focused on the same worldly things as everybody else.
Absolutely crazy. Okay, these Christian women, okay, these God-fearing women, yeah, if you ask them 9 out of 10 times, they would say that they want a God-fearing man. Okay, now when you peel back the layers in regards to their talking points, at the top of the food chain is finance. Okay, he has to make $150,000 a year. He has to be driving a luxury vehicle. Okay, he has to be taking them on shopping sprees and vacation. Okay, hookah and crab legs. Yeah, the same talking points from the worldly woman or these women on these podcasts. They're having the same types of conversations. Exhibit A. Okay, Exhibit A as to why some men are, leaving the church. Okay, because when you look at what is being preached, okay, what is being done, okay, in the church, a lot of men are leaving. And let's be clear, okay, to the 5% of women watching the channel, I'm not saying to settle for a dude that's a bum. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Of course, you want to get with a man that has a plan. He knows where he's going. Okay, he has the intention. He's moving in the right direction, so on and so forth. But money's not everything. Okay, how many lames do we know that have money? How many people do we know that are famous and they have no moral integrity?
Money, status, height. It just feels like we're missing the point when it comes to dating entirely. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that finances don't matter. I think it matters when you're building a life with someone, but we're not even at that level. After the Q&A, there was supposed to be a mixer, but I didn't know what was going on with that. There was no clear direction. We exited the auditorium and we were ushered out into the lobby. People were hanging out, taking pictures, waiting to get their books signed. I saw a couple of church hugs, side hugs, but I don't know that I saw any like actual connecting or like men and women like talking to each other. It's like we can't or we won't even have basic conversations, but we are so concerned about earning potential. We got these bingo cards that I'm sure were meant to break the ice, but I don't even know if that was mentioned. The prompts were simple, like what makes you smile, or do you have siblings? Just followed on Instagram, but nothing about them seemed like they could spark meaningful conversations or show that someone was set apart or serious about their faith or even dating or like interested in dating. And yes, icebreakers are meant to spark conversation, but it was just so surface level. Like, where was the depth? At an event like this, I would have expected more encouragement to actually show who you are in Christ or to like have meaningful and intentional conversations. Again, we're meant to be set apart, but what was the difference between this and a regular singles mixer? And let me know, because I don't think I've ever been to a regular singles mixer either. And to be clear, I'm not critiquing the pastor. Like, even he seemed a little frustrated with the money conversation that kept coming up. Really, I'm talking about Christian dating and how things just seem off. This event could have been a great opportunity for people to connect in a meaningful way, but instead, like, it just felt like going through the motions. So I ended up leaving the event. It was late and I wasn't sure what was happening, but now I'm wondering if I missed out on something, because I've seen some clips from the DC version that happened the next day, and it seemed like a whole different vibe. It looked like there was an actual mixer and people were encouraged to actually talk to each other. I saw a clip of the pastor taking a camera from a guy who was probably on the production team. He's asking him, like, do you dance? And then he like pointed him in the direction of a woman to like get them to dance. Wonderful. I don't think that happened at Charlotte. At least it didn't happen at the Charlotte event while I was there. But to be fair, I wouldn't count the entire thing as a waste. I got to connect with some amazing Christian women who I'm looking forward to staying in touch with. One of those women actually goes to my church. She sat next to me. Like, we go to the same campus and everything. What are the odds? I also met another woman who goes to the host church, and I would love to visit the church one Sunday and hang out with her. Even though the event missed the mark for me in some ways, I am grateful for those connections.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, it sounds like a book signing event that they try to get popping. Okay, no shade to, I believe she said the pastor was, released his book there, and, maybe he had the right intentions. Okay, maybe he realized that, perhaps there was a void and he wanted to get people together and to communicate more and to talk and mingle and so on and so forth. Okay, who knows? Okay, that could very well be his intention. But first glance, it sounds like a popping book signing event. Okay, and women were having the same talking points. Okay, godly women were having the same talking points as these worldly women. I mean, are we surprised? I mean, I'm not surprised. And hey, regardless of where these chicks are, they're going to tell you who they are. Okay, if they're at church, if they're at work, if they're out and about in the street, yeah, just let them talk. Okay, let them talk. They will tell you exactly who they are. But hey, let me know what you guys think about this one. Give me some feedback, and until next time.